Welcome back, I'm Tedward, and thanks to Boston Motorsports in Brighton, Massachusetts, we're driving an icon. This is the 1977 Porsche 911 930 Turbo. Now in 1977, these didn't come in a Flachbau, but what you'll notice is that we do have a slant nose. This is a post-factory conversion kit. It's very beautifully done, and it's all steel bodywork. In addition, this has a 3.3 liter rather than the 3 liter it originally came with, and it was built by Don Jackson Enterprises. So instead of making around 250 horsepower from the original car, this beefed up 3.3 liter with SC cams and K27 turbo makes around 400 horsepower. That's a lot of power for a little car. And the way the power comes on in these cars is why they called them the Widowmaker, because that turbo lag is ever apparent, and when it boosts up, man, does it send you fast. This one's mated to a 4-speed manual transmission. The G50 5-speed came a bit later, and I am shocked after driving this for a short time that the 4-speed is actually a really nice gearbox. I didn't expect that. Let me show you under the hood. But under here, that's where Porsche world gets interesting, because it's all crammed under here in the turbo. We've got this big intercooler, and this one has air conditioning. So there's not a whole lot to see, but it's always nice to get under the car and notice there's not a whole bunch of drip. So this one is well sorted. If you're a Porsche nerd like me, you definitely enjoy the wide body. And in my 3.2 liter Carrera, I've got a narrow body, which I fit 2 45 section rear tires. This one on 17-inch wheels is running 295s, which is making it a little less of a Widowmaker because we've got plenty of grip back there to handle all that torque and power. These were, of course, the impact bumper days. So for those Europeans, you can complain about American safety regulations, but you know, oddly enough, now it's period correct and kind of charming in a strange way. But down here, we also have this single side exit exhaust, which I love because when you're ripping along on the highway and you've got a Jersey barrier, one of those concrete barriers to your left, it just reflects all of that sound right back into the cabin. But what really makes the 930 so special is the fact that it was a homologation car. Porsche needed to build these in order to go racing. We have this car because we had to birth the 934 and the 935. In fact, I've actually sat in the only street legal 935 on earth when I was in Carlsbad, California. The Flachbau kits didn't come along from the factory until much later because folks were actually converting these themselves in order to make them more aerodynamic and raise the top speed. So let's go ahead, take it out for a drive, see if she tries to kill us. But honestly, this is one of my favorite things to drive. Inside, we've got Recaro seats, and these aren't like the pole positions in my car. You can actually recline them, which is pretty nice. We've got 4-point harnesses and a custom gauge cluster with white faces. But before we get started, this video is sponsored by Skillshare.
Skillshare is an online learning community with thousands of inspiring classes for creative and curious people. Explore new skills, develop existing interests, and get lost in creativity. I know I always felt like I wanted to be creative but didn't know where to start. Skillshare is the perfect place to start. If you want to jump into photography, you can use the Fundamentals of DSLR Photography by Justin Bridges to get the basics and learn how to hone your craft. It's curated specifically for learning, meaning there are no ads, and they're always launching new premium classes so you can stay focused and follow wherever your creativity takes you. And the first 1,000 of my subscribers to click the link in the description below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare so that you can start exploring your creativity today.
Of course, we have our left side ignition. She jumps to life. Now, Porsche fanatics, you'll notice this oil gauge. It's very low, it's wonky, it's not working, but the one that matters, our oil pressure gauge, doing just fine. We've already gone out for a drive, we've checked the dipstick, we've got plenty of oil in the system. To release our handbrake, get it into first, and roll off this floor-mounted clutch. First thing you notice, this gearing is quite long. That's a lot. Now, what you may notice is this tachometer revs out to 7 grand. It has a rev cut much earlier than that. And wow, this thing has a lot of torque. Woo, catches you by surprise. The thing has incredible road manners, and of course there's no power steering. We're pre-964 here. Let's get it out to some highways to see how it fares at normal commuting speeds. Ooh, nice and balanced. Even at low speeds, you can feel how that tail is playful off throttle. And what's nice about this car, it feels like the suspension is largely stock. I don't have like all these solid bushings and things that are making it unbearable like a track car. My car's a little rough to drive under normal conditions. Some of that famous turbo lag, of course, between gears, all part of the character of the 930. My goodness, this thing really gets up and goes though. What's nice, still very easy to rev match and articulate this throttle. Everything feels pretty natural. Great brakes. Ooh, yes. You can feel that light front end, classic rear engine vibes. Oh, now that's torque I don't have in my NA Carrera. I'll tell you what, this car's from 1977. I know we've got a punched up engine from later models, but this is no joke. This thing really moves. This is fast for today. The only difference between this turbo and like a new turbo or new Carreras is that new cars have all this funky technology that allow them to basically be lagless or as close to lagless as possible. You get it on tap. This car, you do really need to get the revs up. You're waiting for that turbo boost to kick in. And when it does, you are absolutely rewarded. Let's get out to some smaller roads where you would think this doesn't really shine in comparison to a Carrera. Because remember, we've got all this torque up top. You've got to build that boost higher in the revs. It's not going to be quite as responsive on the smaller, tight, windy roads. Definitely more of a highway GT car. But that's where I think like the 4-speed isn't so bad because you can kind of set it and forget it. First of all, it's really tactile and easy to use. The first thing I'm surprised about with this 4-speed is that it's not crunchy, it's not complicated. It doesn't require a specific amount of finesse to get where you want it to go, like say a 915 gearbox in an earlier Carrera or SC. This thing is just really robust and easy to use. You don't even think about it, you just go for the gear. But because this engine still has reasonable displacement, it doesn't feel sluggish or slow. You know, you still have quite a bit of torque as you're building up those revs. The biggest surprise is that it's easy to drive. It's very simple. I always thought these were going to be terrifying, complex, fearful to get into that throttle. I'm finding quite the opposite. Maybe it's just because we have such outrageous cars today. I mean, sure, there's a lot of nannies on those cars today, but I'm not afraid of 400 horsepower. It's okay to put your foot in it. It's okay to use modern rubber on these cars. And that's another thing that I think we can't overlook, is that in 1977, the tire options likely weren't very stable. Even though they could handle some speed, I'm sure the breakaway points and the behavior of that rubber was quite a bit more death-defying than it is today when we go on Tire Rack and select one of a number of easy-to-use R compounds to keep us on track. I recommend a 930 to a, let's say, first-time user? Probably not. I think getting used to what a rear-engine air-cooled 911 feels like is something best done more around 200 horsepower. You've got to feel out how they drive. And the best thing about a 911 is the steering feel. Now, coming from a front-engine GT car like most of us grew up with, it's a very different experience, but having no power steering and having that light front end means everything is communicated through the wheel. All the little bumps and jiggles and things are communicated directly into your fingertips, which makes it very easy to place as long as you understand what to do with your right foot when things get hairy. The other thing that's nice about this car are the brakes. Now, they're not monsters. You saw them earlier. They're not giant calipers, but they are plenty of stopping power to get the job done. And, you know, maybe it's just because I'm used to my 911, but these feel really good, really stable. You know, you've definitely got to make sure you've got your hands on the wheel, but I feel confident that I'm going to be able to get this thing down in a hurry when I need to. The 930 is the sweet spot for somebody with a need for speed, but also who doesn't want a bunch of computers doing the work for you. You know, it's pretty easy for anyone to jump in a McLaren 720S or a Ferrari 488 and have a good time and go fast. But, you know, while those are still rewarding to drive, there's a very different sensation of a rewarding drive where you are absolutely necessary as the driver to keep it all together. And this is plenty of power, amazing handling characteristics, and you need to know what's going on. You got to have your wits about you when you're driving. With the slant nose, this thing makes quite a statement, and when you pull up to a gas station with the pop-up headlights at night, it's going to gain some attention, but it's going to gain attention from the right people. Only those who know with this car. I mean, a lot of folks just think all Porsches are the same. They all look the same. Nothing's changed in all these years. But those of us who really appreciate these cars, those of us who love these cars, first of all, are going to be able to identify a wide-body Carrera, an M491, or a 930 just by looking at it. And then you see this flat nose, you're going to have to go talk to the owner. So if you do buy this car and you're going to take it out and drive it, be sure that you're someone that's willing to talk about the build, that's willing to share the experience, because we need to keep this part of motorsport alive. This 930 is for sale and it will be up for auction on P-Car Market, and the net proceeds of that auction are going to be donated to the Lars Anderson Auto Museum here in Brookline, Massachusetts. So ladies and gentlemen, bid big and try to keep this museum alive. Thank you so much for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. Don't forget to respect the drive, and I'll see you in the next one. The 930 is actually going to live inside the Lars Anderson Auto Museum until it sells, and I get the distinct honor of parking it in here myself. No pressure. Oh, I've always wanted to drive into this museum. Right behind the Bailey Electric. Just won an award at Pebble Beach.